Guys, welcome. This is the time of the video where we do a magical intro. In fact, it's so magical, this is the magical intro itself. Roll that real intro, though. So, in this video, we're going to be talking about something very simple. Things you need as a herper. Things you need in your little reptile room to make sure things are running smoothly. In case of a little accident or two, you're always prepared, or just, things you need, essentially. So, let's get into it. And is, a temperature gun. Why is that? Is that a temperature gun is actually extremely useful. You've probably heard this a lot of times because this one is not a creative option whatsoever. Is simply this. Wow, the lower part of their cage is 72 degrees, 0.8. Isn't that interesting? I know the exact temperature. Right here, top part of their cage is 80 degrees. Yes, I can read every part of the enclosure if I feel like it, which is extremely useful, especially when you're figuring out what is a good heat bulb for you. Because, different temperatures of the home, different temperatures outside can affect that as well. But this way you can be like, and now you know, hey, this is this much, this is this much. And that's why you could know if, say, you put a bulb in there and it starts getting too hot. This is a lot better to find out than coming home to a possibly dead animal because the cage got way too hot and you weren't there to fix it because you were at work or something. And this is just a very safe insurance option that can save you hundreds upon thousands of dollars, and obviously the life of your beloved animal. So I think another one that obviously is not that creative, I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of these are not that creative, but they're about to get pretty creative after this one, is a misting system. Why is that? That's simply because, water comes out the end, and that's how you can hydrate animals. Well, pretty much very useful, especially if you're working with tropical species. Which over here is that that stick was looking like a cube enough. I'd have been cool if they were that close. If you're working with tropical species, this is a must-have. But even if you own a arid animal, they're still important to have because every now and then you should give your arid species a mist here and there. And if you're filling up their water bowls, if they have them, most of the time people don't give their arid animals to, but they still can benefit from it. They may drink from it. You can fill it up with your mister. This one right here is actually an electric mister. I used to hate on them, to be for a few, but I low-key stopped wanting to pump a hand pump mister like this. Every time I sprayed a cage, I'd pump it, boom, psst, all these cages, and then time I'm done with half the room, it needs to get pumped up again because everyone needs a big fat mist. So it's annoying to use. So I got this. It runs out daily, but all I have to do is press a button and plug it in every couple of days, and it works amazing. To my non-reptile buddies, you're just seeing me hold a light bulb. But to us reptile keepers, this is a UV bulb. It would be a Zac Arcadia 6% UVB bulb, but any kind of reptile bulb like your heat bulbs and other UV bulbs should have spares laying around. For example, this cage behind me actually just had its bulb go out. I don't have a spare bulb. So after this video's filmed, guess who's running to the pet store to pick one up? Me. But make sure you have a spare bulb because these things do have expiration dates and they do occasionally go out sometimes before that, and you don't want to be unprepared. A heat bulb is a lot less annoying because they're pretty fairly priced all around every time you go to a store. But let's say a UV bulb, especially an Arcadia brand one, goes out. They are typically a little more pricier at your pet store, so you definitely want to avoid that if possible, aka buy it online. So you always have a spare. I have a lot of these in my corner. I'm about to have to use a lot of them because a lot of these bulbs are about to hit their expiration date, which means it's official and their UVB output has significantly dropped. Guys, so I don't know what part of the video I'm putting this in, but I'm telling y'all to do something very important. Subscribe to the channel. Why is that important? Because I put a lot of work into these videos, a lot of time, effort, and occasionally money here and there. But they're interesting content. I try to make some interesting things. Maybe if I'm gonna follow the same basic narrative, I try to make it a little interesting, like I said earlier. But sub, like, drop a comment, your friends and family, or don't. Yeah, back to the regular scheduled video. Now, if you're gonna keep reptiles, if you're doing what I do, which is all around me, you're seeing a bunch of wood, because all these cages are made by me, a lot of wood, a lot of screws, and dry lock. But, you need to cut holes in there. Now, you could go in there with a drill and go boom, 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 but that's very inefficient. That's why I recommend you having these drill circle saw. It's on the screen. I don't know what they're called off the top of my head, but these are extremely useful. Pair them up with your drills, then you basically can do whatever you want. Now, this isn't only exclusively useful to, say, a PVC cage or a wooden cage. Now, if you do have a glass cage, you're out of luck, buddy. I mean, I wouldn't personally go to a glass cage and start trying to cut a hole with this in it, especially after looking how much glass cages cost. Yeah, that wouldn't be me. But, let's say you have a glass cage. This can still come in handy if you're trying to do some weird stuff with the decor inside the cage, especially even background. You can do a lot more work. But this is mainly for my PVC and wooden enclosure and people who need to have a temp tubs built. Lets you cut holes efficiently, lets you do all that fun stuff, and, works pretty well, keeps it good, makes it a very simple process versus, say, like using a soldering iron, which will melt ugly holes in this. Now, this last one is somewhat pretty unique. I don't think I've ever seen this talked about in a video like this on YouTube, where it's like, things you need if you're a reptile keeper. This is a jewelry magnifying glass. Now, our animals may be expensive, but they're certainly not jewelry, or are they? This is pretty useful for one thing. This is essentially a magnifying glass that you can turn a flashlight on, get a really good look at certain things. For example, the Cuban false chameleons behind me, you can sex them out the egg because they will have 2 enlarged scales by their vent if they are a male. Now, for someone like me who has absolutely horrible vision and that keeps going down grade and is refusing to get new glasses till the insurance comes up, because who wants to pay all that money for some glasses? Like, look how thick this is, guys. Like, I'm actually blind. This is like diabolical work, and it's crazy because that's with the lens reduction stuff. Crazy, but it's pretty useful, especially if you're coming along trying to sex a species that doesn't allow you to sex them from the egg, like some of these anoles around me. But they develop features that make them sexually dimorphic around 6 months. They're going to develop that a little before, and around 6 months that's when you can tell. And this pretty much allows you to get real up in there and be like, I think you're a male, Jimmy the Crested Gecko. Yeah, pretty useful. And into the video. If you liked it, let me know. I had a little fun filming it. This is a kind of little fun video to make. Nothing crazy, nothing serious. And the actual end of video is now.